the post of governor being a hot seat, and especially when there's two different parties at the state and at the center. And I personally feel you are right, like you are striking at the right balance. My question is that, have you ever felt that the governors are opposed for the political reasons, more of the political reasons than for the rational one?
What is the institution of governor? Governor is a constitutional institution, and our constitution has created the position of governor and defined the roles and responsibilities of governor. And among the roles and responsibilities of the governor, in the constitution, if you read, the articles are very clear. First and foremost responsibility of the governor is to protect the constitution of India. Because whether it is a union or the state, each of these entities have to work according to the constitution. That is the sacred document we have. And to protect it, how does governor protect? Not by putting a book of constitution, putting in the log vault, it is safe now. You protect a constitution and protect the constitution when, suppose a state legislature, you know, in our constitution defines also the separation of power. This is the power of the state, this is the power. It is, we have our 7th schedule where you have a union list, you have a state list, and you have concurrent list. So whatever is in the state list, a state makes, whatever union list, and whatever in the concurrent, if the union has not made any law, a state can make the law. Number one. Number two, if the union has made a law already, even then a state can make a law, but that law must be compatible with the union law, like parliament law. This is what it is. Now suppose a state makes a law where it transgresses. After all, what is that? In the legislature, a political party has a brute majority, let us say. They can pass any law. They can pass any bill. That will not be law, that will be bill. The bill will be passed. Now, if it transgresses the constitutional limit, the bill passed by the legislature, by the assembly, does not become a law until governor assents to it. Now, this assenting to is a constitutional responsibility, that the governor has to see whether this bill is exceeding the limit, whether the state is exceeding its competence. If it exceeds the competence, then it is the responsibility of the governor to not to assent the bill. And what is the constitution says? Constitution says that a bill passed by the legislature, first of all we should also realize not the word legislature, assembly, because legislature of a state is defined in the constitution. Legislature of a state consists of, number one, governor. Number two, legislative assembly. And wherever there is legislative council, the legislative council. So governor is a part of the legislature. So a bill passed by the assembly does not mean it is passed by the legislature, because the assembly is a part of the legislature. So when the bill is passed and is sent to the governor, he or she exercises his or her constitutional responsibility of being a constituent of the legislature by taking into account whether this bill is going beyond the competence. And that is why in Article 200 of the Constitution it says that when a bill passed by the assembly is given or forwarded to the governor for assent, governor has three options. One, assent, give assent, problem is no, there is no problem. Second, withhold the assent. And you know what is withholding means? Withholding doesn't mean that I am just holding it. Withholding has been defined by the Supreme Court, by the Constitution bench. Withholding means the bill falls through, the bill is dead. It is a decent language used for instead of using rejected. That becomes too crude. So when you say withhold, withhold means the bill is dead. Or third, he reserves the bill for the president. But governor reserves the bill for the president. Ideally, there is a discretion of the governor. In some cases, if he does not give assent, it is beyond him. Suppose in a concurrent list, if a subject of the concurrent list, a state assembly has passed a bill. Now, governor cannot give assent on that because parliament has passed a law. So, it has to go to the president. So, governor reserves it and sends it to the president for the president consideration to assent or not to assent. And there again the president has the same option, withhold the assent or give the assent. Governor can only reserve it. Sometimes governors, sometimes to pass on, okay, I don't like to be a bad boy, I don't, so pass on to the president. No, that's not the right thing. If I have a response, look, I am here, a governor is not always to take a very goody pleasant decisions. You have to take hard decision also. If a particular bill is not consistent with, then it is the and if it is not in the concurrent list on which parliament has made a law, then governor should take a call. So, only exception is, there are two exceptions. One is money bill. If it is a money bill, governor has no business to not to do, he has to give assent, because then it is a day-to-day expenditure and all those things, they have to be incurred. And the second is one option more that the governor has it, that if it is within the competence of the legislature, or even if it is not within the competence of the legislature, governor has realized it is not within the competence of the legislature. With observation, governor returns the bill to the speaker for reconsideration. Reconsideration of the house. And if the house, after reconsideration, after debate, he has to send for reconsideration along with the reasons why he says that this is not. And then if after the reconsideration, if the assembly again passes the bill and sends to the governor, then the governor has no option but to accord the assent. That is the constitutional position. So, as far as whether this union is one party, state is another party, there is a lot of political noise happens. Sometimes governor becomes also okay, viewed as an representing the union politically. Governor is a president's appointee. President appoints the governor. So of course, the president is my, you can call that she is the one my boss. If I use the word, colloquial word largely, though the constitution makes it very clear that who is who. So it doesn't cause any issue. As far as I feel it, I as a governor feel it, I don't feel any confusion comes when you start thinking extraneous, unnecessary things. You know whether you do your you discharge your responsibility, that's all.